Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're cutting it a little close. It's fine. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. I feel like this week could be our last week with Spiritfarer. If not this, then the next one. Which I'm, you know, doesn't break my heart. Old OBS here had an update and it's weird. Stuff looks different. Before we get started, there goes Unikitty. Before we get started, I should probably, let me do something with that. There. I've done something with that. So before we get started, I do have a potential game for an upcoming stream I've been asked to play by the creator, developer, I don't know. It's one I've played before. It's been a long time, but he's done a lot of work on it, and you know, he said, when it's done, you want to play it? And I said, sure. Are we in Oxbury? Where are we? I don't know when that'll be ready. It wasn't ready last week when he told me about it, so I'm gonna keep that on the down low till I know more about it. And at his request. This is not Oxbury. This is somewhere else. I've got a piece of my dinner in my tooth. You're all incredibly interested in my oral hygiene. But wouldn't you be? I'll get it. It's gonna bother me till I do. So that's kind of the plan going forward. If we do start another game, no, it's the big one. If we do start another game before he is ready, we may, depending on what it is, we may pause the game and go do his thing, or we may just wait. That is all I will tell you. I'll tell you one other thing, because this isn't going to give it away any more than anything else would. It's something I have been asked to play before. Just maybe not quite in this way. I guess I have something in there. I don't know what it is. But when I know more, y'all will know more. Well, you'll all know more when the project starts, I guess. What we will do before that I don't know yet. Hope this is gold. I think it's gold. It was gold. For some bizarre turn of events, we finished at like 20 minutes into this stream. We'll find something else to do in the meantime. Maybe I go get a toothpick and poke around in my gob. Mother blood. Well, that sentence is missing a word. I'm still here, I promise. I wanted to, since I think we're getting close, we talked about kind of going over characters and all that. So I think we'll do that kind of while we're running around today. So, Gwen, first person we met. Life, here we go. Be hard to do. Gwen's parents had been friends with Stella's family long before they moved to North America. As such, Gwen had been one of the very few constants in Stella's life up to adulthood. Gifted with a brilliant mind and a pragmatic attitude, she had a mischievous side. Being a couple of years older than Stella, Gwen had always been a big sister figure for her. Next. One who would always nudge her towards self-affirmation and taking the risks she otherwise wouldn't dare to take on her own. Heir to an aristocratic but mostly dysfunctional family, Gwen had a difficult relationship with her father. He was proud of his daughter but would often distastefully parade her and her intelligence as a way to receive self-aggrandizement. This was exacerbated by her father leaving Gwen and her mother at a fairly young age to live with his boyfriend. Gwen only talked to the accountant a few times, including for several hours when her father died, and then never again. Don't know who the accountant is. I'm assuming it's the boyfriend. Symbolic of her rebellious nature and her opposition to a guardian she had to call father, Gwen picked up smoking at a very young age. Yet despite all her courage and bravado, she never mustered the courage to smoke publicly or even in front of him. Ironically, smoking is what eventually killed Gwen when she passed away from lung cancer in her 40s. As she reached the final stage of the disease, Gwen traveled back to her parents' manor in northern Italy's Alpine Lakes region and considered attempting suicide. Ultimately, Stella reached out to her at that moment and succeeded in helping Gwen accept her fate rather than taking her own life. Get our next character ready here and we'll move on. All of this is stuff, so far, that stuff, you know, like that, you know, the game can tell us that stuff, game. Gwen was forever ago. Gwen was like 40 hours ago, almost. Miss Gwen. Gwen was one of my favorite characters. What's up? Food from the cafeteria at the hospital. Okay. When we take our next trip on the boat, we'll read up about, we'll do summer next. And then if there's any requests for the next person, y'all let me know. But we will read about everybody that we've met so far. And there will probably be minor spoilers for me, since I will see people we haven't met so far. But, you know. Oh. Oh. I don't care what it is, man. Just give me some food. Oh, here we go. There's just slop. There's menu tasty slop. I can give them other food. And some grilled veggies. Poached fruit. So only feed 3 people. Opening my beverage. Gray Mist Peaks, okay. How far do we get before he gives us another video? Thing's finished, wow. Are we making more coal? Yeah. I remember that from a week ago. Take us long to get there, so let's read up on summer. A true child of the earth, Summer grew up on a Midwestern farm in a very strict household. Her job as an agronomic engineer led her to work with large farming corporation where she developed breast cancer due to their heavy use of chemicals. Her sickness prompted her to leave her town behind to heal. That's how she met Rose, the love of her life, and Stella's aunt. During her recovery, Summer developed an interest in biodynamic farming. Her journey toward better health also led her to embrace her more spiritual side. It is at that point in her life that she vowed to live every day in the glow of what she called the universal love. With Rose, she built a booming garden in a remote area for just the two of them. Many happy days were spent in this house they made for themselves until Rose passed away. Summer's last decade was filled with struggles. The loss of Rose left her adrift, and without her by her side, she found it hard to take care of herself. Then, when her cancer came back, it was for good. She died with Stella by her side. Summer was the person who inspired Stella to become a nurse. Makes sense we work in the hospital then. Next. Since we've got some time till night, let's read up about Uncle Atle. Was Stella's parental uncle. He moved to northeastern France at the same time as Stella and her parents before they settled a decade later across the Atlantic Ocean. As a true handyman, he occupied various technical functions in many construction fields until he found his true vocation, union leader, fighting for the rights of disparaged workers. Atle took great pride in teaching Stella all he could about life's little things, from fishing to cooking to simply sitting and enjoying the sunset. As cheerful and petulant as could be, Atle hit an emotional hole that unfortunately could not be filled. Regardless of all the love he received, no matter how sensational the gourmet food was, he ate. While Stella was in Europe in her early 20s, Atle disappeared without a trace. This was a great shock to Stella, and she never truly learned what happened to him. His disappearance was one of the reasons Stella decided to move to North America with her mother Marie and her sister Lily. Which makes sense as to why he was just gone on the boat. Again, this is stuff the game should be telling us, not a wiki. And maybe if we talk to him like a million times, we get this stuff. I don't know. How about Alice next? Remember Alice? Alice was the hedgehog. A stay-at-home mom, she spent most of her adulthood looking after her children and taking care of her family's domestic life. Engaging with Alice meant doing so of your own volition, as she would never dare impose herself. However, she loved fashion, traveling, and Swedish romance novels, which she slowly reveals to Stella. She suffered from dementia in her later years. Go back. In Stella's life, she represents a turning point in her vocation as a nurse. Alice was the first patient to die in Stella's care, an experience that reaffirmed her will to work in end-of-life care. All right. Astrid. Let's read about Astrid. Oh boy. As a young woman during World War II, Astrid hid Jewish children in the basement of her mother's restaurant. She devoted the remainder of her life to helping others. Eventually, she met and married Giovanni. Though she deeply loved him, the two had a tumultuous relationship. Despite Giovanni regularly being unfaithful, she found it difficult to separate herself from him. Stella met Astrid and her husband while she was a teenager living in France, and the couple became surrogate grandparents to her as Stella never knew her own. Now I guess we'll see what Giovanni's all about. Giovanni fought in World War II in the Resistance and carved for himself an ordinary life of trade and simple pleasures. Extremely careful with his appearance and his witty one-liners, Giovanni always made sure to do everything in his power to charm everyone around him, even if it sometimes involved doing shady things just to win someone's heart. Up until his death by heart attack, Giovanni stood by his Carpe Diem motto. He understood the pain he had caused Astrid without being truly sorry about it. When we get a chance to read some more, we will read about Beverly. Beverly the little owl. What's up? You look lost. Are you lost? You look lost. Sounded right to me. Just vanish into thin air. So when he said lost people, he just meant he lost people. Hi, Flo. Hello. Not. Somebody's over at the vending machine. The residents always hang out by the vending machine. So, here's the story. You know, your old pal Jason works in a cemetery. But my mother is a nurse in a care center. Basically end-of-life care kind of stuff. Assisted living, a lot of, not quite hospice, but, you know, that kind of thing. And so was her mother. This is like family business here. So doing what I do, and doing, well, my mother doing what she does, there are people that my mom has been with when they died that I have then had to bury. There's only been like one or two, but it's happened a couple times. Yeah, it's not something I thought was going to, you know, didn't cross my mind when I took the job, because really, that's fairly few and far between that there are jobs where that would be a thing. Married a cousin. So, I guess, you know, the position Stella's in here is more like... God, I haven't even left yet. Okay. Okay. There you go. Please stop. I can do this while I do this. Let's read about Beverly. Beverly is Stella's old neighbor. She's been rather lonely in Oxbury and is eager to join Stella and reminisce about the past with someone familiar. She first mentions 3 people: Henry, Sarah, and David. Henry and Sarah are her children, and David her husband, who passed before her. David was a math teacher for a high school named Chelsea High. Beverly met David on a blind date as her friend Pauline, who was the school secretary, matched them up. She also mentions that her family house was designed by a professional architect, yet had to sell it when she was alone. as her children had moved out. The house was a cozy little farmhouse, and it meant the world to her. Beverly had many friends, and she mentions very often, and she loves to tell stories to Stella. Stella and Beverly met as neighbors when Beverly moved to the city after selling her farmhouse. It seems that as she got older, her memory started to fade and began to forget names and recent events, causing her to repeat the same things to Stella over and over again. Okay, let's load up. Next! We'll go do that next. Well, should we just keep going with Jackie? We're already here. Let's keep doing that. I need another sheet of that. Right? I just needed the one. So let's read about Gustav. Estella traveled through Japan as a young adult, emancipated and in control of her life. For the first time, she met Gustav, a German art curator who spent time teaching Stella nuances and invited her to his art gallery in Shirakawa-go. Gustav had a brilliant career that led him to travel the world, curating exhibitions for a multitude of museums and galleries. His extensive knowledge of art, history, and architecture sometimes makes him come across as a smug intellectual. At a relatively young age, Gustav developed multiple sclerosis. His condition physically paralyzed him, but left him with a clear mind. He continued working as much as he could, but his condition stifled his career, soured his mood, and forced his mind towards more contemplative subjects. It can be assumed that this disease was what ultimately killed Gustav. Again, something the game should have told us. You know, maybe Gustav shouldn't have been up walking around. Just saying. That could have been a thing, like his house has to be on the bottom floor because he can't climb stairs or something. I hope he's in here. There was, we heard of somebody, right? I heard of somebody. Thank you. Couldn't tell if that was a bat or a flower. Eyeballs glazes. There you are. I don't know, Jackie. Starting to think maybe not a bad idea. What am I hearing? Oh. Cat broke again. You know, what happened? That didn't happen at all till like 2 weeks ago. Okay, now let's head to Grey Mist and we will read about Bruce and Mickey. Bruce and Mickey are two very odd patients, most likely from just outside of Boston, that Stella encounters during her senior year as an end-of-life care nurse. Mickey, an imposing and intimidating behemoth of a man, ends up in a coma after his drunk driving leads to a car accident. His brother Bruce never leaves his side, accompanying him in the most extreme, dangerous, and illegal activities. The two of them are inseparable, and at Mickey's arrival in Stella's care, becomes a staple of the ward for many months. Bruce always talks on behalf of his brother, in denial that Mickey simply is not there anymore. Incapable of coming to terms with the fact that his brother, while technically alive, is not coming back. Bruce makes outlandish requests and angry comments while aboard the ship, showing his pain. That makes more sense. Need to figure out how to make that XP potion. Maybe I'll look that up too. We got some time. So let's read another one. I don't care what's streaming on HBO Max, especially not the crappy Romeo and Juliet movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Stanley. Good old Stanley. I think we were right about Stanley being a kid. Stanley is a wonderful 8-year-old boy who met Stella as he was losing his fight against a fatal disease. Cheerful and whimsical, Stanley is gifted with an analytical mind which allows him to crack one-liners and aphorisms. His wisdom makes full-grown adults blush in humility. As the youngest patient Stella had ever had to take care of, Stan left an unforgettable imprint on her. He helped her realize that death can take many forms, and that wisdom and peace of mind can be found in the most unusual patients. Just checking over, we talked about things don't care. Yes, 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 yes. No, no. No, yes, yes, yes. Yes, and yes. There's an entry for Jackie and Lily. I don't know if that will, spoil anything, though, so we won't read those. Okay, we need to meet someone else to get XP potions. Okay. I can work with that. We also need to come up with enough money to buy our last boat upgrade. So, let's make a bunch of crap we can sell. Oh, now what? Power out. Too busy to fix. Yeah, you're right there. I don't know if we're gonna get enough glim together just selling stuff to get the boat we need, but we'll see. Perfect timing. don't think we're gonna get there doing this. Peaches are worth some money, so that's alright. Probably can make sure I'm not selling things I'm going to need for later, but I also kind of don't care. You remember Coffee Beans when we were playing Wander Song? And we decided to see how many coffee beans the game would give us before it quit giving us coffee beans. And it never did. Those were the good times. We had fun then. Okay. Our cat is broken again. Hi. Let's see if I screwed up getting her. Oh, no, I didn't. We're almost there. We got closer than I thought we were going to get. Why don't they need water? That's never been a... Anyway, let's move on. Missed it. I just said the power was off.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm.
Ah.
Mm.
I feel like it would be easier to get there if, cat's broken again. If I could just ride that power line, you know? I don't even think we came over here and looked previously. I don't remember being over here. That's because we weren't. I'll use that right now. Is it? I can never find those when I want them. It's because it's in documents. It's not a document.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh.
Mm.
Oh. Oh.
Mm.
It's true.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Whatever you say, Gary. Had I known I could have done something else for the last 37 hours of my life, you could have had this job.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Should we help out old Gary here? No. You know what? Seeing what time it is, I think we'll go and meet Lily again. And if Jackie pages us, Jackie can wait. That's kind of my attitude about that. thing. Pork and sauerkraut? I haven't had like a good sauerkraut in a long time. Might be time to go and pick up some. Oops, I think it's the other way. I wasn't for a very long time. Thought it was gross. Okay. Well, hell. I think we'll skip break time today. Jackie is the caretaker at an old rundown hospital in Overbrook. His main patient is Daria. He worked with Stella when she was a nurse and he was an orderly and envied her constant positivity and ability to deal with tough patients. read about Daria. Daria is a patient in the old rundown hospital in Overbrook. Her caretaker is Jackie. Daria experiences a behavioral syndrome known as catatonia, which causes her to move and speak abnormally. While it's never stated in the game, catatonia is typically a symptom of schizophrenia. Daria also experiences chromesthesia, which is apparent in the Mind Palace minigame, as well as why she loves music so much. And I see two other characters we haven't met. I'm not going to read about them. Lily. Lily is the spirit manifestation of Stella's younger sister. Stella sets more spirits free in their cabins filled with flowers. Butterflies start to appear. When there are enough butterflies, a flower above Stella's cabin will glow at night. Interacting it causes the butterflies to settle and form Lily. Lily allows you to navigate at night. Oh, I hadn't noticed. Buck informs you about this. Buck is a character we haven't met. She only takes form at night and reverts back to individual butterflies during the day. Lily is not actually dead, being actually a manifestation of her voice in the real world when she first appears and upon completing her quest. As such, she requires neither a spirit house nor food, and when interacting with her, she does not speak. Stella gives her a hug instead. Well, I don't think we're going to 100% the game, but I also think we all knew we weren't going to get that far with it. Let's read about Stella. Stella's place of birth is unknown. Her family immigrated to northeastern France while Stella was a young child, where she lived out her childhood and teenage years. She later moved to Quebec with her mother Marie and her younger sister Lily. Oh, the butterflies. As an adult, Stella was a palliative care nurse in charge of helping increase the quality of life of patients with a serious illness. She accompanied those that might not have much time left and eased their pain by being there for them right up until she became ill herself. In Spiritfarer, players catch glimpses of Stella's memories as she reminisces about her family visits to Alsace during her childhood, her newfound friendships while visiting Shirakawa-go during her early adulthood, her patience as a health worker in Oxbury, and her anxiety-filled nightmares when she learned of her rapidly advancing cancer.
Flowing through the seas of time, memories that were left behind bring us closer to the end of this journey where we grew as friends. Take me through the mist and storms in waters that are still unknown. Under guiding starlit sky we will learn how to say goodbye. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But it's okay, we'll be together. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But I know we will remember. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But it's okay, we'll be together, my friend.
Chat's back on now. Not quite what I was expecting. I mean, kinda, but not quite. Excuse me. Still like the game. I think the game has some problems. We've talked about pacing being a big one. Not telling the story well enough is a big one. We learned more about the people in the game reading a fan-made wiki than we learned about them in the game, which is an issue, I think. Music's great, graphics are great, gameplay itself is great. Presentation lacks a little bit. I am looking up something because it, at least in the course of regular gameplay, it is not explained during the game. And it's, again, something that should have been. It was not. So. The owl. The owl is... Thanks for the pop-up ads. Appreciate it. Hades. The large spiritual owl-like figure Stella meets upon delivering her first, fifth, and ninth spirit. He resides in Stella's psyche and can be seen unfurling his wings before disappearing as you make your way up the Stardust platforms. When he shows himself, usually once the image of a memory has been pieced back together and Stella's climbed to the highest platform, he appears with his back towards you, slowly turning around with shadowy eyes. He speaks in short, cryptic sentences. Has transcripts. And the last thing he says is, "Go now, you are not alone." Hades is internally named the Mist Guardian. This is the reason why the final region is surrounded in mist, to symbolize how close death is for Stella. He controls all of the mist in the world of Spiritfarer, The purple mist that appears in the events jellyfish, dragons, and fireflies is Hades in his most fearful form. And I suppose, thinking of dragons, that is the, not personification, but that's what Summer was afraid of. It went away and it came back, so I guess the dragons make sense, because the dragons have tumors. And, you know, dragons are cancer, I guess. Anyway, Spiritfarer, pretty good game. Pretty good. Like I said, had some problems with pacing, storytelling. Not bad. We'll take a break. We'll come back for, you know, the remainder of the night and plan our next move, as it were.